The man that you want to become can conflict with the man you were meant to be. So think about that for a second, because I have a lot of experience in this. When you're a young boy or young man, when you reach teenage years, if you're 13, 14 years old, if you're 24, 25 years old, in that 10 to 12 year gap of your life, there is so much stuff thrown at you about what you should think, about what you should do, about what you should become. And it sometimes conflicts with who we're meant to be. I'm a prime example of that. I was an athlete in high school. I was an athlete prior to high school. I was throwing the ball, I was left-handed, throwing the ball 92 to 95 miles an hour by the time I was 18 years old. I was one of the best running backs in California when I was in high school. I was fast. I was athletic. I loved to punch people in the mouth, metaphorically, playing football. I used to love chasing after and knocking linebackers on their rear end. And that's the man I wanted to become. I wanted to have my options. I wanted to be Bo Jackson. I wanted to be Deion Sanders. I wanted to be able to play NFL football and Major League Baseball. Injuries made it impossible. And no matter how much I try to come back and try to be this man I wanted to become, there was this man I was meant to be pulling me. And that pull created this conflict where I started getting into alcohol, where I started getting into drugs. When I didn't finish my education, I stopped at my bachelor's. I didn't go to get my master's or my PhD. I wandered for a lot of years, working security jobs, driving forklifts in warehouses, working at fast food places like Subway. And then I got into something that I seemed to be good at, but kept taking me down the road, and that was timeshare. I did timeshare sales for years. And it's like that's not what I was meant to be. Because we don't allow ourselves to develop, because we keep pushing against this narrative that we have to be this upscale guy to get all the chicks. I'm not trying to talk crap about anybody. I'm not trying to put anybody down, but, we have this mindset that we all have to be Leonardo DiCaprio, or we all have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, or we all have to be LeBron James or Michael Jordan, or we have to be the hottest guy with the most ripped abs, that we have to be Andrew Tate to get chicks. We have to be the top G to get chicks, to get respect, that we have to treat women like absolute crap to get laid. These are all the things that are thrown at you. Fresh and Fit podcast all the time is putting down women, trying to make this misogynistic point of view come to fruition. When in reality, the meaning of being a man is being the person you are meant to be by allowing yourself to grow, allowing yourself to chase some of the dreams that have changed. My dreams have changed. And the more I've gone down the path that was set before me that I wish I did 10 years ago, which is my podcast, the RV business, my main education channel teaching people about RVs. If I could have done that 10 years ago, I'd be retired by now, traveling the country, helping people answer their questions with complete transparency. My marriage wouldn't have fallen apart. I wouldn't be 11-hour drive away from my kids. But sometimes we have to make the mistakes to figure out what the solutions are. Sometimes we have to learn as we go along. And some of us, we get it at 28. Some of us don't get it till we're 40. Some people don't get it till they're 60, 65. We all do it at our own pace. Stop worrying about what women think about you. That's the one thing. Stop worrying about being a passport bro. Stop worrying about some chick and her body count. Stop worrying about things that do not matter in the long run. Because when you meet the right people around you, whether it's someone that's going to be your future wife, or whether it's somebody that's going to be a business partner, whether it's somebody that's going to be a mentor, when they come in their life, you have to be prepared to absorb them. You have to be prepared that this may happen at any time, and it may come from somewhere that you don't even believe would even come from. Mine came from an email. An email from someone that all they did was have a bunch of problems and ask me to look into one subject on the internet and talk about it. And it changed my life. But if I kept battling myself, and listening to the outside noise and listening to Fresh and Fit podcast and whatever podcast and listening to all the top G stuff, if I keep letting the outside noise get into my head, I would have never paid attention to that email, and I would not be taking off in the direction I am. Stop worrying about it. Stop worrying about the man everybody says you got to be, and be the man you were meant to be. That's the best advice I can give you. Whether you're 13 years old, whether you're 35 years old, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're 30 years old and living with mom and dad. Doesn't matter if you're going through your first divorce, your second divorce, or you've been or if you're still a virgin. It doesn't matter. Those social pressures, those social things that come into play mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. What matters is when you have your stuff together, when you have your life together, and you're at the happiest you've ever been in your life, and you do everything every day to make your life better, other people will be attracted to it and find you. It doesn't matter if you're super overweight and fat, super skinny, super nerdy. It doesn't matter if you go look in the mirror and think you're the ugliest man on God's green earth. It doesn't matter. Because when you're happy, when you do things that make you a stronger human being and a better man and a better human being, the world is your oyster. Thank you for letting me tell you this story.